America is more than $36 trillion in debt. That's a number so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. But that debt isn't just floating in space, it's owed to someone. Most people point to China as the biggest lender. And yeah, they do hold about $750 billion of it. But here's the twist. China itself is drowning in debt too. Over $18 trillion worth. And who holds their debt? Mostly Chinese banks. The same banks that also hold American debt. Meanwhile, American banks hold debt from China, Europe, and everyone else. It's a web. A giant tangled loop of money where everyone owes everyone. Today, the world's total debt has passed $300 trillion. That's 3 times more than everything the entire planet produces in a year. So if the whole world is in debt, who's everyone borrowing from? The answer is weirdly simple and incredibly complex. Because modern debt doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in circles. Take the United States. 70% of America's debt is actually owed to Americans themselves. Sounds strange, right? But when you put your savings in the bank, that money doesn't just sit there. Banks use it. They lend it, invest it, and buy government bonds. Those bonds are just promises. The government borrowing your money and paying you back later with interest. And it's not just banks. Pension funds, insurance companies, investment firm, they all do the same thing. They buy bonds because they're safe and steady. So when the government pays interest on its debt, that money flows right back to the same people who lent it. You, me, and millions of others. It's a closed loop. Money moves from savers to borrowers, then back again. Over and over, the same loop exists globally. Japan's savings flow to the Netherlands. The Dutch lend to Brazil, and Brazil lends back to America. The entire world economy is a giant roundabout of debt and credit. You might ask, why can't we just stop borrowing? Well, here's the truth. Debt is the engine that keeps the modern world running. When governments borrow and spend, businesses earn, workers get paid, and economies grow. If that borrowing suddenly stops, the flow of money stops too, and everything slows down. That's exactly what happened in Greece after the 2008 crash. Investors stopped lending. The economy shrank by 25%, and 1 in 4 public workers lost their jobs. So borrowing continues. Because without it, the machine stops. But here's the danger. The bigger the debt grows, the more money goes to pay interest instead of building new things. If investors lose confidence, borrowing costs spike, and governments are forced to make hard choices. Cut spending, raise taxes, or print more money. Printing might sound easy, but it makes every dollar worth less and when prices rise. That's inflation. In extreme cases, it destroys entire economies. So what happens when people lose trust in paper money? They look for something real, something that can't be printed out of thin air. Gold. And that's exactly what's happening right now. In 2025, gold prices have surged almost 30%, while the US dollar has fallen to a 3-year low. Even the world's biggest banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, predict gold could hit $4,000 an ounce by next year. One company that's catching attention is Gold Mining Incorporated, ticker symbol GLDG, and a US-listed firm that owns one of the largest portfolios of gold and copper projects across the Americas. They've got sites in the US, Canada, Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. And here's the crazy part. Their equity holdings alone are worth more than the company's entire market cap. Big names like BlackRock, Sprott, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs are already shareholders. And right now, GLDG trades around 76 cents, even while gold keeps hitting new highs. So maybe, in a world built on debt and endless promises, it's worth paying attention to something that's been trusted for thousands of years. Because in the end, when everything runs on borrowed time, sometimes the most powerful thing you can hold then is something real.